Okay, so this video is 4.2c, and it is on slope-intercept form of a line. So just be assured that your video says 4.2c, and it is again slope-intercept form of a line. You can kind of see it up here, and it's part one. Today you're going to be able to graph and write equations that are in slope-intercept form, and perhaps even be able to change them into a different form. So this is what you should be looking at on your handout right here. So describe the slope of the line and then find the slope. So what I like to do is I like to do change in y. I start on the left. So start on the left. That's important because you can start on either side, but in my course, in this class, Algebra 1, I always teach kids to start on the left. And it's simple. If you fall down, that's going to be a negative slope. So the rise is -2. We fell. If you start on the left every time, your run's always going to be positive. You're always going to be going this way to the right. And then your run's going to be positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the slope of this line is -2/5. When they say describe it, well, just be aware that it's a negative slope. So what's this slope? It's going up and over. So it's definitely a positive slope. That's what they mean by describe the slope of the line. And then we look at this one, it's also a positive slope, okay? So let's look at rise over run. So I'm going to grab, I'm going to do something a little bit weirder here. I'm going to use green for positive numbers. So I'm going to rise. I'm going to start on the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm counting the spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I believe the rise was 4 and the run was 6. And if that's the case, you actually are rising 1, 2 and running 3. If you look here, you could have gone just to there and you would have gotten 2/3. 4/6 is also equal to 2/3. So that's the slope of that line. We have the slope of this line, which is a negative. And now we'll go over here for the slope of this line. Rise 1. Oh, it's a little weird because these are by 2's. Watch out for this. This can happen. Rise 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like I run rise 7. And then run 1, 2, 3. So rise 7, run 3, up and then to the right, so both positive. 7/3 is the slope of that line. So hopefully that's no problem. This is finding the slope. This is kind of a review. We're trying to build on that today. So what we're trying to also do is figure out the slope of the line from a table. Now they did say that these things are lying on a line. So I want to look at my change in y and my change in x. So why don't we try to think of each as a color. So why don't we always talk about our x with a blue for now? Why don't we always talk about our y with a blue for now? Why don't we always talk about our x with a green? So if we look at the change in y, how did the y change from here to here? And even from here to here, it's going to be the same. It went not up, but down by 6. So -6, -6, and again, it's going to be -6. So that's the change in y. So I'm going to put the change in y over the change in x. And that is going to be, sorry, my colors are all messed up today, so that's not good. Not paying close attention here, apparently. So let's make the y green and the x blue. How's that sound? Good? Sounds good to me. Okay, cool. So change in x now. Well, what's the change in x from here to here? Well, it's +3. It went up 3, and it's again +3. And this should be consistent. If it's +3, it should always be +3. There could be a skip in here. Like it could have just not written this point right here. This could have not been written, and it would have gone up 6. But even if it had gone up 6 and this had gone up down 12, it still would have worked out. It still would have worked out to the same number because you can reduce this fraction. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this is a slope of -2. It does say what is the slope of the line, and that is -2 in this situation. So let's look at the x in blue, hopefully, and the y in green. So we always want to do change in y over change in x. So I like to use this symbol. It's delta. It's actually called a delta, but it represents change. So in any class that you're doing, this basically is going to represent change, although in geometry class they do use something that looks like that for a triangle, of course. But other than that, it should always be the change in y. So let's do the change in y, and then let's do the change in x. So how does y change from here to here? Well, it does not change. How does it change from here to here? Well, it does not change. It's still the same. So the change in y seems to be 0. And what's the change in x? Well, from here to here, it's 2. It's positive 2. And then from here to here, it's also positive 2. And again, 2. So it's 0 divided by 2. But 0 divided by 2 is just straight up 0. So the slope of that line is 0. And it's a line that looks like this, guys. It's flat, okay? Not my flattest line, but you get what I'm trying to do. It's like a tabletop. Tabletop, obviously, or soccer field, hopefully, has a slope of 0. So we want a line, the line that this would be would look something like that. Okay, back at it. Change in y over change in x. Why don't you try this problem right here? So I'm going to make this a now you try. Pause the video and give this problem a shot. See what you come up with. And once you come up with an answer, I actually want you to put it in a box. And there might be one extra step that you could possibly miss. So pause the video and give that a try. Alright, so now that you've given that a shot, let's look at some other lines here. Find the slope and the y-intercept of the graph. Now, if we're looking for the graph in slope-intercept form, it's always in this form. Slope-intercept form looks like this. Now, why does it look like that? Because the m is the slope. And the b is the y-intercept. So if you look at a line in slope-intercept form, if it's in this form, you're looking, the intercept and the slope are in the equation automatically if it's in that form. So this is slope-intercept form. There's your slope and there's your intercept, your y-intercept. They don't say y-intercept, they just say intercept. Now let's look for the slope in this first line. Can we find it? Well, yeah, we can look here and just right away. We got a slope of 3. And can we find the y-intercept? Well, watch out because you got to also use the sign when you're doing that. So we can also say that there's a y-intercept, a yint, of -4. So that's really all you're doing. Not a big deal, but what do you do when it's not in slope-intercept form? And this, right now, right here, is where people start to have some trouble. I think I talked about it in the last video, but I want to talk about it a little bit more in this video. So I think I'm going to put a circle around this. Not looking so great. So let's try to bubble in the -y. We want to bubble in the sign and the actual term for the y. So keep the sign with it, okay? And I've been bubbling it in, I think, in purple. So let's use purple again. Okay, is that purple? It's not super purple-y. Let's use this. So let's try to get this so that y is alone. First thing you want to do is get rid of anything outside of the bubble. So you can draw your line just like you're solving a normal equation, just so happens that you have two variables here. You want to get this out of here by adding or subtracting it. That's going to get the whole entire term out of there. Not just the 5 out of there, you want to get the whole term out of there. So now we add that to both sides and we simply have -y equals, I'm going to put the x in front because it's mx plus b. Now we haven't gotten y completely alone. We're close to it, but there's a -1 in front of it. There's still a -1 here. So we should divide everything by -1. 1, 2, 3 things, okay? Now, why did I not combine the 5 with the -2? Because these aren't like terms. This has an x with it, right? And this has a -2. You cannot put these guys together. They got to go side by side because they can't be combined together. So you're finally going to wind up with y equals -5x plus 2, and that's your slope-intercept form. But that wasn't quite what the question was asking. It was asking what was the actual slope and what was the actual y-intercept. So I want you to now try, so now you try to tell me what the slope and the y-intercept are. Okay, I want you to write the slope and the y-intercept for this line. It's already in form, so it shouldn't be too bad. Pause the video and give that a shot. So you paused the video and you gave that a go. Hopefully that went well. If you haven't paused, make sure you pause now. Let us continue on. So what I'm looking at now is the next question. And it says find the slope and the y-intercept of the linear equation. This one I think you can try. So I want you to try this one just based on the last problem. So make sure you give this a shot, okay? And this one I'll explain to you. Well, y is equal to 8. So whenever I see a problem like this, don't forget about this. I'm trying to review something with you. I want you to replace all of these y values with 8. So like something, comma 8, something, comma 8, and something, comma 8, and something, comma 8. Now what might it have been? It's your choice. You can put 3, 8. You can put -2, 8. I'm making these numbers up. 1, 8, and you can put 12, 8, whatever you want. But when you graph this line on the x and on the y, and you go 3, 8, 1, 2, 3, and then you go up 8, which maybe let's say is here, you're going to be there. Well, that's this point. Now, if you go like -2, 8 right here, you're going to go -2 on the x, which is here, and then you're going to go up 8, you're going to be like right around there. So that's that point. If you do this again, you're going to have like what, 1, 8. So here you're going to go over 1, you're going to go up 8, you're going to be right around here. So that's at that point. And if you do one more and you do 12, 8 right here, you're going to be over 12. You're going to be way the heck over here probably, and then up 8. Look at this. It's pretty clear that it's making a flat line. So what's the slope of that line? Slope dude might remind you. Is that fun or not fun? Well, that's the hint. It's 0 fun, right? So the y-intercept, where does it cross the y? Well, it's pretty clear that it crosses the y at 0, 8, or just 8, sometimes people say. That's the first part of this answer. But the second part of this answer is what's the slope? It's not undefined. It's not straight up and down like you're going to die and fall off the cliff. The slope is 0. It's totally flat. It's like a soccer field or a basketball court. Nothing will roll off of it. The slope is 0. It's flat. So a couple more things, then we're going to wrap up this video. Write the equation of a line with the given slope and the given y-intercept. Shouldn't be that bad. I'll do the first one for you. So we want y is equal to, this is our m, and this is our b. So y is equal to mx plus b. That's all you need to do. So take this number here, whatever it is for your slope, and put it in front of the x, and then take this number right here, whatever it is for your y-intercept, your b, and put it at the end. So y equals mx plus b. That was a pretty good hint. This is your now you try. So pause the video and give that one a shot, and then we'll continue on. So you pause the video, you tried that. This whole note paper should be filled in. This is our last problem. Okay, write the equation of the line in slope-intercept form. Well, we need two things for that. To make it in slope-intercept form, we need an m, a slope, and we need a b, a y-intercept. I'll do that in green because that's kind of like where the line starts, b, the y-intercept. Okay, so remember that b stands for y-intercept and m stands for slope. I'm going to do one, and I'm going to ask you to do the other one as a now you try. So this guy will be a now you try. Pretty simple. I like to start with the green. That's why I made it green. Like green means go, green is start. Where are we crossing the y-axis? This is the y-axis here. I'm pointing it out. And we're crossing the y-axis here. We're crossing the y-axis at 1. The b is therefore 1. What is our slope? Well, slope is change in y over change in x. Let's try to figure that out. We did it in the beginning of the video. We went up 2, so 2 over, and then change in x, 1, 2, 3, 4, this way. So rise 2, run 4. But 2 over 4 can be reduced to 1 over 2. So that's our m. So if that is the deal, let's write out the equation y equals mx plus b. Y equals m, I'm not going to put anything there. I'm going to put x plus b, I'm not going to put anything there. So what we're looking to do is we're looking to fill in the m here, and we're looking to fill in the b here. So, oh darn, that was supposed to be green. So we're looking to fill in the b over here. So we know the b is 1 from there, pretty obvious, and we know the m to our left is 1/2. Darn, having color problems again. So let's make that red. The m is 1/2 from here. So this is our final answer of our line, y equals 1/2 x plus 1. Sorry it's a little sloppy. Last thing to do is to pause the video and try number 4 and come up with an equation that looks a lot like this, and you will have succeeded, okay? So give it your best shot, and I will see you in the next video. I will see you in class. Peace.